What's good, fam? It's Mr. Kelly with Good of the Hood, talking about anything and everything that impacts the culture. And today I want to talk about a question that has been answered and brought to light, not answered, but it's been brought to light several times throughout this whole, since the whole resurgence of protesting police brutality with the recent murder of George Floyd. And that is defunding the police. Should we defund the police? And really, in order for that question to even be remotely answered, you have to determine, what does defunding the police really mean? For some people, it means abolishing police departments altogether, completely. And I guess citizens or cities or whatever would kind of self-govern, so to speak. I'm not in favor of that at all. I mean, it's just. Look, either way, there's a lot of whack jobs and a lot of nuts out there, right? And a lot of people that just don't respect life, a lot of people that are infatuated with crime, and it's just not the way that it should work. To me, that's my 2 cents, right? Now, defunding the police, in the sense of taking money away from them, I think that's reasonable if it's not being utilized properly, or if we're not getting the results or the needs met as a civilized society, and we're paying taxes, then absolutely that needs to be looked at again, for sure. I mean, I don't know how anybody can even remotely argue that point. But from what I understand, a little bit of research here, well over, I believe it's, these numbers may not be 100% accurate, but is funded to the police, various police departments and so forth across the nation, in addition to whatever the local taxes are in your particular city, area, whatever, right? First and foremost, we need transparency. Like, where exactly is that money going? How is it being utilized? Because police aren't rich, okay? Police officers are not making six figures as far as your regular police officer, detective, that kind of thing. I don't know how that works once you start getting up a hierarchy as far as a lieutenant or chief of police or whatever, right? I would venture to say they're probably not getting six figures either. Again, that's going to vary from place to place. Obviously, chief of police in Salt Lake, Utah is probably going to get considerably less than the chief of police in New York, right? Los Angeles, that kind of thing. But nonetheless, we need more transparency in the sense of where this money's going, okay? And at the end of the day, look, where the money is allocated is very simple. I don't know why that's not normal everywhere, is beyond me, okay? Absolutely, the country, the federal government has the ability to make sure that policemen and precincts get the funds that they actually need. So they can regulate it and make sure that everything is the way it should be. Look, they just dumped $1 trillion via stimulus packages and small business administration packages due to COVID. They just dumped $1 trillion into the economy. So you mean they had the ability to drop $1 trillion this whole time, but they're always talking about we don't have enough money for other things that society needs? So it's just they don't want to, right? So anyway, back to the topic. Defunding the police. I don't think necessarily they should defund them per se, my personal opinion, but absolutely that money needs to be allocated, and it needs to be done to make sure the cops' mental health, so there should be some type of mental evaluation that's done maybe even annually. There should be a better vetting process to make sure that police are even right for the job. It shouldn't be some kid that was bullied and some power-hungry a-hole that just wants to be a cop. See what their history is. Are they affiliated with the alt-right or with the KKK or anything like that? Like, really, what's the deal? If we do defund the police, and in that sense, meaning take some of the resources that we're giving to the police, what do we do with those monies? Those monies absolutely need to be poured into black and brown communities. One of the things is, I think the police need to look like the communities in which they serve. And I've heard the argument that not enough black and brown applicants are coming to the police departments. Well, if we're going to defund and take some of those monies, then we need to create programs so that more is known about the police, so that we can present that and provide courses for those young individuals that may be interested or just don't know at the middle school level, at the high school level, absolutely at college for sure. But in high school, when you're going to your career counselor, it should really explain what it really means to be an officer and provide opportunities for individuals in those communities to become police officers in those communities, right? If the argument is, well, because of crime, because of poor neighborhoods, this, that, and the other, then why are we not helping the poor more? So why is there not more job training? Why is there not better medical? Why is there not better education, right? Let's reallocate those funds and think long term to make society a more caring society, right, so to speak. Other countries that are in the same ballpark as us as far as industrialized, technologically advanced countries don't have the same problems in this area that we do. South Korea doesn't have the same problems. Japan doesn't have the same problems. London doesn't have the same problems to the same extent that we have. Look, the United States per capita has more people in prison than anywhere else on the planet. We have 2.3, 2.4 million people in prison. It's big business. So, one, why are the prisons privatized? That's a whole nother topic that I'm going to get into with somebody that's very involved in prison reform. So, again, defunding the police. This question was actually asked recently to Nancy Pelosi. She had no answer. Should we defund the police? Nancy Pelosi had no answer. Okay. They asked Donald Trump, should we defund the police? Donald Trump said absolutely, unequivocally, no. He says in his view, 99% of the police are doing a fine job and crime is lower than it's ever been and so on and so forth and so whatever, right? They asked that same question to Joe Biden and Joe Biden said no. However, he supports the cops still getting funded as long as it's conditional. Meaning to say, are they hitting various benchmarks, goals, so on and so forth. So kind of what I was saying, but he was a little bit vague with it, I think, when I heard it. But he is at least acknowledging, like, look, they absolutely can't keep going all the way that they've been going and still getting the same resources. That's just stupid. And then lastly, Kamala Harris was asked the same question. And surprisingly, Kamala Harris actually, to me, had the best answer, which is crazy because it doesn't seem she thought this way when she was a prosecutor. But people grow. People mature. It's a new day, so on and so forth. So Kamala Harris was asked, should we defund the police? And she says that we don't need more police, right? So she didn't say yes or no. She says we don't need more police. But monies should definitely go elsewhere, should go to hospitals, should go to schools, should go to mental health programs, job training, that kind of thing. So I do agree with that. I think job training is a big one actually for the police. Look, not to try to put them in a box and stereotype, but look, if you see a cop that's still on patrol and he or she is like overweight, super out of shape, and doesn't seem to know anybody in the community, and so on and so forth. Like, why is this person even a cop? Like, give that person a desk job or something. I mean, it's a physical job, right? For sure. And I think a lot of these cops, they have PTSD or whatever, right? It's a rough job. Look, they're typically going and approaching the individuals that most of us wouldn't even want to have as friends or wouldn't want to be in the same place with. So I get it. I acknowledge that. But you still have to treat people like people, right? A cop is not judge, jury, and executioner, right? You uphold the law, apprehend the suspect, and let them have their day in court. End of story, right? It should be just that simple. Part of the problem is this relationships with the police in black and brown communities specifically. It's just crap. Me personally, I'm not even trying to be around a cop at all. I mean, in no capacity. And I live in the suburbs now, right? I've been blessed enough to move out of a poor environment. But I'm still not trying to mess with no police. If I'm riding somewhere, and you've heard me say this before on other videos, if I'm driving somewhere and a cop just pulls up behind me, man, I'm taking the left or right turn and looping back around and going about my business. And not even putting myself in that position, because it doesn't matter. At this stage of the game, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It matters what they say. Period. And and what they say. Let's talk about that for a quick second here. Cops, quit having attitudes if people don't have attitudes with. First of all, you shouldn't have attitudes with nobody. But I recently got a speeding ticket. Okay, I was speeding. Fine. Okay, got pulled over. I know the drill. It was broad daylight. It was like 3 in the afternoon. I was dressed nice. I had to go to an important meeting at work. And I got my hands like this, and I got my registration and my license right here. Windows already dropped. Music down. Cop comes to the window. Do you know why I pulled you over? Da-da-da. Yes, sir. I was speeding. Apologize. Heading to a meeting. Legit. That's what I told him. This guy just like goes off still. I'm like, I got my license, my registration, my insurance. Here you go. Well, you can't be speeding. You got to obey the law. You got to whatever. Da-da-da-da. Like just going left on me. I'm like, okay, here's my stuff. Run it. So he takes it. He's all pissed off. He goes and run it. Obviously, no warrants, so on and so forth. Gives it back to me. Gives me a ticket. Still being a jerk about the whole situation. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Goes back to his car. On something as small as that. This is why people don't like y'all. This is why people don't like you. Share the same energy. If I say, yes, sir, da-da-da, apologize, I was speeding, rushing to a meeting. It's not an excuse. It's just that's what was happening. I didn't try to talk out of the ticket. I didn't try to whatever. I'm accountable. Give me the ticket. I go do what I need to do. Right? Don't be a jerk, dude. Don't be a jerk. This is why people don't like you. If you talk to people like, look, when you go to the store and you ask the cashier, hey, where can I find whatever? Where can I find batteries? And she gives you some type of attitude and talks to her. The first thing you're going to do is be like, oh, I need to talk to your manager. Or you know what? I ain't going to buy nothing from the store. Same thing. You can't talk to people like trash and then expect to get respect. And then you yourself escalate the situation and now you're going to blast people. But look, that's a whole nother deal. At the end of the day, my 2 cents is defunding the police. No. I don't think we need to defund the police. We do need to hold them accountable. We need to set the bar super high. We need to give them annual evaluations. If they mess up, none of this slap on the wrist. If you mess up and you do something, you do the time. You're treated like just a regular citizen, right? If you're going to treat people like trash, you'd be expected to be treated like trash. This whole and look, if we do suspend them or whatever, no pay at all. If you have a certain number of incidents that are deemed unnecessary, like being maybe a violent cop or being just like super rude or whatever it may be. You know, these various cops get a lot of complaints, right? Do an investigation. If they are found to have been problematic or whatever, then they got to go through a whole retraining course. They need to go through a sensitivity training, whether that's gender or race sensitivity, or they just need to be pulled off completely. Be like, look, you're not allowed to work over there. You can go to another precinct, but you can't go to no more black and brown communities because you're a jerk. Or basically, you can't be nothing but a meter maid. Like, get up, because at any other job, if you mess up and you have 17 complaints on you, it's a wrap. So I don't know what the problem is here. And if people say, oh, we need more money if we're going to do all these investigations, well, whatever. They just dumped $1 trillion for stimulus packages. They could have done this a long time ago. Drop a couple billy, reform the whole entire police department, reform the whole entire prison department, make it where it's not for profit, that it really is about rehabilitation and it really is about safety, and be done with it. And if these jackasses can't do their jobs, then they can't do their jobs. They're no longer cops. I don't care what the situation is. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're a cashier at Best Buy and you mess up, well, guess what? You're no longer a cashier at Best Buy. It just is what it is. So that's my 2 cents on defunding the police. Let me know what yours are, because I know there's a lot of different opinions. I'm actually in the process of connecting with a couple police locally and try to bring them on the show and see what their 2 cents are. And specifically, I'm actually looking for a couple of cops I'm talking to that are actually also people of color as well. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be coming down the pipe pretty soon. But again, like I said, if you could please subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. Hit that bell for the notifications. And for now, this is Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood. Peace.